Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Everyone out there in ShortTrack TV land, Kenny Shepard here. We're doing a little testing and tuning along with the drivers. We're tuning some new equipment up for our Racer Network TV production and our ShortTrack Live productions for all of our fans out there. So we decided we would go live on these Friday nights throughout the year to tune up all our equipment for you guys. Junior late models are on the track right now. For another couple of minutes, they'll be on the track, and then we'll have the pro late models come out. The ticker at the top of your screen is actually the fastest lap in the session, so it can be any one of their laps. So it looks like Hunter Gates fast, Georgia's Lane Christensen second fast. We've got a duplicate of Lane Christensen in third, but that's not Lane. The Nascimentos have brought 221 cars, so it's scorers working on that right now, so we'll get the proper name up there. And then the young dirt driver, Lyons from Illinois. That youngster, he's a young guy, and he runs dirt modifieds, dirt late models already. And then Brexton Bush right there in fifth place, rounding out the fifth place. They're getting the youngster from Japan turned around. They had a little problem with steering, and the front suspension on that car last night came apart, and he's having a little bit of mechanical difficulties right now. See if that's Charlie Wilson, the owner, pushing him. Yeah, the car just wants to go left on its own. Let's see, Charlie's going to hop out of the car. Looks like John Williams has our front straightaway shots put up here. Jim Dale, thank you, Jim. He just sent me a message. Looks and sounds good. We love Jim Dale, one of the most dedicated race fans / crew members, ex-military, cool guy. Supports a lot of the kids, loves the kids. Hey, there we go, John. We got a flicker in that same camera we were dealing with, the flag cam. So John's going to head back down and go to work on that one. That was the only camera that gave us fits between in the off season. So it looks like John and I are going to be very busy pulling another cable. You see that flicker right there. So we left those cables in the off season, and we were afraid we should not have done that. So I think we're going to, that one right there, you see the flicker in it? Yep, so once you head down and work on that one, disconnect, reconnect. What we will do, John's listening to my audio as well, we'll pull the turn one down. If that doesn't work, we'll start looking at that. Or we can run a brand new cable for it. So it looks like the juniors, we've got, let's see which 21 this is. Lane Christensen from Georgia, very impressive. He was the winner of the combine that the Nascimentos put on the Madera. That's Christensen right there. Brexton Bush in the 18 car, Christensen in the 21. Dickerson in the 8J. And then from Alaska, that's the young man, last name Flowers. They're in the 4 car. Ironically, that car was having a little bit of issues. Mr. Flowers was kind of struggling with it a little bit in practice earlier today. They did a 10-2 session for the kids, and he felt something. He couldn't quite communicate what it was. So Ethan Nascimento hopped in that red number 4 car, and about a couple of laps in, the front suspension came apart, and the marks up there under the 5150 sign in turn 3 under the light, that was Ethan Nascimento put that car in the wall, but there's nobody better than those Nascimento folks when it comes to grit and putting the car back together, and that's exactly what they did. So it's out, and I think that's Flowers in the car right now. Brand new class. What we end up with every year with the 5150 Junior Late Model Series, or at least every 2 years, a complete rotation. Very odd for a racetrack, but the kids come in, they do their training, and a year or two, it's sort of like graduating high school. It's time to get on down the road, and these kids are really elite potential drivers, so they get off to the tours. So this is a brand new class for 2026. The only returning driver is Hunter Gates that's on top of the board. Let's see how John's doing on that camera he's working on. Flicker, flicker, flicker. We don't like that. Turn 4 cam looks good. You'll see with Lucy, we'll get a flicker right here. It freezes. So we've got a problem. Those are big, long fiber optic cables, and I believe it's going to be in the connection. We'll work on that way late tonight. Like our Lucy cam. Yeah, John's getting it tuned up. That might be working. Hunter Gates still on top of the board. Let's see, who else is out there? Look at the message board here. Stephen Blakesley earlier. Stephen has really been working hard for us, as he does every year, but he earns his living through a lot of different channels in motorsports and puts a lot of effort into a lot of racetracks, dirt, pavement, traveling series, and we love what he does, and Stephen's done a real good job helping us with this event. He's worked real hard on the media. Looks like Pro Late Model's coming out right now, so we should see the ticker completely switch over. A lot of upgrades. Like I said, it's test and tune for us tonight. We've been running tests quite a bit the last month as we upgraded all of our live stream equipment. And what we have here is a separate setup for live stream and then another set where we do the recording for the TV show. And Stephen took over the reins on the editing 2 years ago. So it's actually Stephen Blakesley that puts a lot of time and effort into the TV show, and I do the switching and the producing, and then we've got Brian and Steven that are on the call, and John and a bunch of guys behind the scenes that work really hard. Zach that's down there trackside, and Rosano, and just the whole crew that does a great job here. And heading into our 11th season of broadcasting 5150 Junior Late Models, 12th season Pro Late Models. It's interesting for me to think when I go to these drivers' meeting in the old days, 2016, the first year of the Junior Late Models. A lot of the kids that are here now racing this were either they were pretty much, some of them weren't born. Brexton Bush wasn't born yet. The young driver from Japan, he wasn't born yet, you know, the 10-year-old. So it's hard to believe. Jesse Love and the other kids, Austin Herzog, our original winner, they're veterans now. It's amazing how time goes by. All right, green's out. Let's check that. See how John's tuning that camera up. He's changing some cables out. That's what we call our Frank cam. It's the Lucy cam this week. We don't want to tell Frank, but Lucy really does a good job with the start box down there and controlling the drivers and mixing it up. So does a real good job with the kids. All right, let's go to this camera. Jim Dale, what's for dinner, as Stephen always says. Hi, Pam Silva. I miss you guys. I see you in the chat there. What are you and Jeff having for dinner? Probably have a campfire over there on the coast and a cold drink in your hand. Tammy and I have been working around the clock, missing you and Jeff. Trevor Slunt, top of the board. Hensley just went to the top of the board. Moves Slunt to fourth. Jason Aguirre second. Reynolds third. And Joey Keneally. Brother Robbie gets all the drive time in the ARCA series these days. And it's just Joey and Robbie out here. Robbie's crew chiefing and helping out brother, and it's Joey's weekend to go racing. That's Jesse Burks in the all-black car that you'll see. Let's see if we can pick it up down here. Jesse was smart. That's actually a pro sportsman he's tuning up for a championship run starting next week. I may have the audio a little bit hot from the race cars. It may sound a little bit louder than it normally does here when I come it up right now. I'm cracking it open. Let me know if there's too much car noise or if we've got it balanced kind of nice here. Jim Dale says, laugh out loud. Oh, leftover pizza. I love pizza, Jim. I said if I ever went Daytona 500, there was a little pizza place. It's not open anymore, but it was open for about 40 years. It's called Pizza Villa in Merced. I was going to have about 10 or 15 of those pizzas flown to Daytona, and we would probably still be up when they got there the next morning if you ever won that thing, you know. Reynolds to the top of the board. Hensley second so far in this session. Jason Aguirre, Robbie Keneally, and Trevor Slunt. Jesse Burks stayed on the track to roll out. Thank you, Jim. We're trying to, as much as we can get away with on the, what was MAV TV, Racer TV. There's a lot of things we have to do with FCC, of course, coloring and sound and whatnot. So loudness radar is one thing. So what we like to do with the live stream, we like to crank it up, sort of like the Fox deal, where you hear a lot of concussion shots coming past the flag stand. And same thing with the race cars right now from the grandstands, if you hear those. But on the TV, sometimes on the FCC side, that'll push us outside the bounds of the loudness radar. So we end up being a little bit quieter there. But this year we're gonna push it as hard as we can to push all the. We like a lot of hot rod race car noise. I don't have the heart to tell John that his changes look good because he's running a roll of some new fiber right now, and he'll put the adapters on for the SDIs. He's heading all of that down to the flag stand right now. So I guess we'll have a backup cable for tomorrow night. That one looks nice and solid. All right, let's see who can move up the leaderboard here. Cam Caraway in this 21 car. There's so many 21 cars out here tonight, I guess we should be sponsored by the new casino down the street. Well, little skip in that camera. Skip in that one. John's down there playing with the cables. We'll get it out of the way before tomorrow night. That's what we're trying to do. Caraway moves into the top 5. Caraway into the 5th position now on the overall speed chart. 5 more minutes in this session, then we'll go to Legends. Legends will be the next out. Then we'll go back to the juniors. Then the pros, 15-minute rotations. Then from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we'll put the cones out. It's high side only. And we sprayed some real sticky stuff on the high side of the racetrack, so that'll be an important half hour. We have a surprise coming up. We're going to announce at the junior late model meeting tomorrow. The junior late model drivers will take the final position in the night on the next 4 races. So they will race, they'll finish the night, they'll be the last main event, where the pros were normally in that position. The reason for it is to give the junior late model drivers some of that shade on the high side, force them to run all over the racetrack. Typically here when the sun goes down, the high side's where you want to be. So we're going to mix it up, go back and forth between the pros and the juniors this year on who gets the finale to be the headliner at the end of the night. Yep, still a little flicker in Lucy's white flag there. Kylie Glick jumps into the 5th position here. Caraway all the way to the top. Big shuffle. Caraway first, Hensley second. Pardon me, Reynolds, then Hensley, then Aguirre, then Kylie Glick. Kylie looked pretty good earlier today, the 10-2 in that 67 car. So could we get a girl to victory lane on the TV show tomorrow night? Could happen. It's kind of like the first day at school. I always love it when we come back to the racetracks. Kind of a little bit of spring smell in the air, smell of race fuel floating around. When it comes to, any of the pavement tracks, dirt also, but especially the pavement tracks, it's always fun to get the place all painted up, the walls and new billboards up, and the racetrack all repainted real fresh. So it has that kind of brand new look, or what I like to say about the Madera Speedway, it's sort of like a 57 Chevy. We're an old fairgrounds from way back in 1971, and the whole place is old, but it's sort of like taking a 57 Chevy out and washing it, waxing it, polishing it. It's still an old car, but it sure looks good, and that's why I love the track. At opening day here is always something special. Legend cars out there. John, believe it or not, I know you ran a spare. John just came up here, and he's in the booth and on the mic right now. Let me open your mic. Which one are you on? Brian's, the big one?
No, I think it's Stevens.
Okay, you're there. Believe it or not, as you were moving things around when you reconnected Lucy's camera, it became pretty smooth.
Oh, nice.
We had a flicker in turn 4 after what you did, though. And I saw you ran that one, so we can either run it as a spare or hook it up a little bit later tonight, run the new cable.
Right.
It was the turn 1 lift cable.
Yeah, that one you'll also need an extension because it's like you said, it's just barely to the gate.
Murphy's Law, it's going to be about 4 feet short.
Yep.
Brought it all the way 250 feet from down in turn 1, and it'll be 4 feet short after we get past the grandstands and down there.
Yes, sir.
Oh, let's see who is on the live chat.
She made it about a foot past the gate.
Yep. Fajitas for dinner. Boy, is Jeff cooking those on the flat grill, Pam? Jeff, that guy is a magician with that flat grill. Now, Jim Dale said pizza. We don't want to tell Jim Dale when we go over the coast to hang out with Pam and Jeff. I take my portable pizza oven, my homemade dough, my scratch sauce. We could run one of the best pizzerias around. That's what we have. We need to do that down here at the Speedway, John.
Yep.
You know, we do the big mission feed, so we do big taco feeds a couple of times a year for the race teams. We do a pulled pork barbecue feed. We should do pizzas one night.
Heck yeah.
So the Keneally car that Jan's towing on the hood. Jan's Towing is the team that Robbie drives for. Picked up an ARCA West win last year. He and Kyle Keller. Kyle was fighting for the championship all year. It's Robbie Keneally on the track right now with Joey turning the wrenches. Joey was able to run Daytona this year with Jan's Towing, and a pretty neat opportunity. And boy, was that special to so many of the kids to have from the Madera Speedway program, so many of the juniors that have gone up, and to be able to sit there and watch drivers from in the trucks and the ARCA series, Jesse, you know, the O'Reilly series, like continue to want to call Xfinity. It's so much fun to watch those drivers as they go up. Clouds are out. John, I wonder if any of them will go to the high side before we put the cones out and force them to the high side. I bet they don't.
Well, Jesse rolled one lap through it in his pro sportsman.
How was it when you walked on it? Was it setting up pretty good?
Yes, it was sticky.
Stuck pretty good.
Yep, it was sticky into my shoes.
Yeah, the track's definitely will be faster tonight on the bottom, even when we run the top groove. But once that sun goes down around here, you really want to go to the high side. Early in the season, depending on how many cars are on the track, sometimes the low side survives. But as we get to summer, when it's hot in that flat area, it's 4 degrees of banking on the bottom, 9 in the middle, 12 on the top. In the old days when I ran down here in the early 90s, we actually ran clear up to the top in the center of the corner, but that was a big sticky 11-inch tire, big compression, open engines. Since we repaved the track and kind of redid it with this 602 combination with a 970, it's more of a roll through the center of the corner. So they really use that 9-degree banking a lot in the center. And especially in the summer months, you can get up there in the middle of the track and keep the tires cooled off. You run them on the bottom end. It's pretty rough on the right front, through the middle right there, and then the right rear on exit. So let's look at your monitor, John. Let's see what Lucy's flag's doing right there. Go back. Up. Robbie backed off a little bit.
I think that's Joey in that car. Joey's the younger one.
Oh, Joey, pardon me. Jim Dill.
And Robbie Keneally's the one that was running.
Hold on, Jim's made some chili. I'm interested in all this food right now, John. I'm hungry, I guess.
Well, God darn it, Jim needs to sing and bring some chili.
Yeah,
come on,
he's
Jack.
He's already been talking about pizza. He's talked about chili. I bet he makes a good
let's
chili.
make a chili pizza.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now.
Kate,
Bring it on there.
Good
there,
night,
Jim
guys.
Dale.
Good afternoon, guys. Having some crawfish tonight. Wow. Man, we've got really something.
Somebody's a Louisiana person.
We've got fajitas with Jeff Silva. Jim Dale's had pizza while he's talking about cooking chili a few days ago. And then now we've got crawfish. This is what state did you have the crawfish in tonight? 'Cause we don't hear about a lot of crawfish out here in California. But hold on, we've got a scorer that's complaining that she said I've got no radio. You know what the next thing I say? Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. John's first name is Hay. He should have been in the hay business. Here's the keys, John.
It's like, hey, Jack.
Get 2 of them for us, if you would. Bring a spare up as well. So I've got one. All right, Legends now. Here we roll. Rachel, you'll update the ticker that comes over for the Legends. Not one of them have transponders, so you're just leaving it on this. Okay, so to let our folks know it's not a flaw or an error that I was asking about. So you're seeing the Pro late model ticker still up on the screen when the INX Legends are out, and that's because none of them have transponders on this evening. Yep, we've got a smoking tri-tip. Eloy. Man, I am hungry. We've been down here working around the clock this week between hanging the banners, billboards, fixing everything, getting it ready to go. Speaking of an old 57 Chevy, they take a lot of attention before you go to the car show. Kind of same thing here. So we had something to eat about 11 o'clock, so we're going to have to run down to the concessions and see what they're cooking here in a little bit. Check some of our graphics. We'll put the mission graphic up. For anyone that comes out to the Speedway, they will see a lot of mission banners and branding this year. Between the 3 or 4 signs on the racetrack, if you come down Highway 99, look over to the grandstands here at the Madera Speedway, you will see a giant mission logo, big giant sign at the top of the grandstands when you enter the facility. They've been a wonderful sponsor and a great help in keeping the Speedway open and helping us with some improvements. 5150's back for the 11th season of the junior late models. Their support. Carlos is amazing what he does with the kids, not just the junior late models, but what he does for kids with his boxing program, with different sports programs. He has kids that he helped in Supercross motorcycles that he sponsored and has just absolutely changed the trajectory of different youngsters' lives. Jesse Love, for example, very few people knew, a handful did, but Carlos was real big. He sponsored Jesse Love in the early days as a junior and helped him with some sponsorship to move uphill, so it's made a big difference with people. Eloy, what temperature do you smoke your tri-tips at? I like to run mine at 250, especially if it's in the offset smoker or even in the drum. Real slow, sometimes 225, 250, and then have the barbecue beside it for a reverse sear. 450 to 500, really hot. They come out really nice, juicy. And then let them rest. Junior late models will be back on the track in about 7 minutes, what I'm hearing on the radio. 5:59, 6 o'clock, they'll be coming out. gonna have to get John to tune that camera up, a little bit blurry down there. We could sharpen that focus a little. All these fun things we do in the off season, and making sure all the gear's tuned up as best we can. Of course, like a race car, everything will work perfect until 5 minutes before it's time to go racing, and you're scrambling in and out of the trailer, and the misfire shows up, and so it's always exciting around here. All right, junior late models out there. I've got John on the switcher. We're tuning up. We switched a couple of cables out, kind of tinkering a little bit. Looks like we're going to have a very early morning tomorrow. The cable we were trying to fix on the Lucy cam is going to have to be replaced. So all the way from the tower down the bottom base of the grandstands and down to the flag stand. So we thought we were going to get to sleep in, John. Hunter Gates still on top of the leaderboard. Christensen, then Lyons. Lyons, very impressive. A lot of dirt car experience, so he was really smooth last night. Gates is he's the only veteran, the only one that had some seat time from last year. Struggled a fair amount last year. We see that a lot with the juniors. They become a veteran. Skylar Shoppy was a good example. After a couple of years of really struggling with the juniors, was able to move to the front last year. Dixon and then Bush, top 5. The ticker right down below that, you'll see it where it runs the numbers out on the rest of the kids where they're at. Practice tonight goes to 8 o'clock. As I mentioned, at 7:30. From 7:30 to, we'll take a 5-minute break, roughly about 7:35. The cars will run the high side, so we'll have cones in the corners. We put some grippy stuff we sprayed down that we do every now and then down here, kind of like drag racing does. Run the cars through it, work it in to make a good high groove tomorrow night. Pits open at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Cars are on the track at 3:30. A lot of meetings for the kids. Reason for the long time in the pits. Cars are on the track at 3:30. Main events at 6 o'clock. It'll broadcast live here on ShortTrack TV on the members page. And then it pushes, Stephen will hustle, and by the end of the week we'll push it off to Racer TV. It'll air on our Madera Racing show nationwide on Racer TV for the kids. We have a lot of variety on the TV show that will air on Racer TV, formerly MAP TV, this year. We have junior late models, all 8 of this championship. We used to be 9. We went to 8 to help the kids with the budget. We'll have pro late models. The pro sportsmen right now are slated for 3, but we're working on all 7. And I think it's going to happen where we'll have all 7 of their races on TV. We will also have NCMA sprint cars, helping that group out, putting them on television, 3 of their 4 nights here at the Speedway. And then 1 night of super modifieds that we have. And then we have a recap. It's a documentary recap of the 5150 Junior Late Model Series that will air, a 1-hour special, and it'll be whoever wins the championship, their journey to the championship, which this year will be pretty interesting. We've got drivers from Japan, Alaska, Washington, Illinois, Georgia. We'll have drivers from Louisiana. We've got a pretty good rotation of drivers, so you'll see a couple of the same cars that there will be 2 or 3 different drivers on during the season. So whoever wins the championship, it'll definitely be interesting, that documentary, The Road to the Championship, because it'll include, I would anticipate, a lot of footage from leaving their houses, a lot of plane flights all the way across the country or down the country if it happens to be from in Alaska or Washington. And it'll be interesting. Definitely the most miles the kids are coming from this year. John, go to camera 3, which is Lucy Cam. Pull that up on your switcher preview. Let's go. I see it flickering on the preview. Go ahead and bring it over so folks can see what we're talking about. Yeah, you see that skip right there? So we're going to have to pull that cable out. That's the one we left in over the winter. Who knows what happened. We'll pull that out and then rerun it in the morning, a brand new one. All right, go ahead and get away from there. It's skipping. Let's not use it. We know it's bad. Just use all of your other camera angles except for that. They were waiting on another car coming down pit road, but it looks like they're closing the gate right now. 6:05. Juniors go to 6:15. It's been kind of fun yesterday and today. Kyle Busch has been out here. Kyle's in the pits. And most people walking through the pits don't even recognize Kyle. It's so funny. T-shirt under the car, working really hard on the car. Been interacting, just kind of hanging out. One of the guys, I think it was a nice break for Kyle to come to a racetrack and not be mobbed like he was Elvis or something. And so he's been interacting with all the kids and the teams. I think Steven posted something, you might see it on our Facebook, where the young Lions driver from Illinois, he's been working on improving speaking. And he was chatting with Kyle, and they ended up firing up a phone and recorded kind of what they were talking about. Kyle was giving him some pointers on how to speak in public, and so it's been kind of fun out here this last couple of days. A lot of smoke on the 12 car, John. Go to the 12 car that has suspension problems. Stay right there. Stay with that shot. He's coming off of, that's the young driver from Japan, Iki, and he has trouble with that right front again. Had a suspension collapse on him last night. Had a little trouble. He was down on the apron the last run out, so they're having some mechanical issues. That's the teammate to Braxton Bush. Let's see if Steven posted that video yet. John, we should give everybody on the live stream tonight the test we gave to the kids, the 5150 test. I should go get a copy of it and see who can post that. In fact, we'll do that. So those of you that are on the live stream right now, what we do is we give the kids a test, and we started something new this year. Carlos Fier and I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we came up with another idea. We've done this before. We'll have people donate books. So we've had the Jack McCoy book, Ken Clapp's book, different history books on racing. And we'll get a copy and give to the kids. And then we give them a test that's an open book test where they can, whoever scores the highest, they get points to go on the field trips to Sonoma, NASCAR race, different things we do. So this year what Carlos and I came up with is each race the kids will get a 10-question test. And it's all about the history of the sport. So it could be Indy cars, stock cars, World of Outlaws, anything. Just trying to teach the kids, the youngsters, they need to understand the history of the sport, and it's really important. They will be the future of the sport. So this year what they do is to go on the field trip, it'll be half of the score will come from their tests, half of the score will come from their points at the various points like Sonoma in June or whatever. So, but the kids weren't real warm and fuzzy about, oh, no, we have homework. We come here, junior late models, we have homework. But they're paid for this homework. So at each of the drivers' meeting, we gave the tests out a couple hours ago. They have all night to complete and research, get the answer to the 10 questions. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we'll collect those tests. And then at their drivers' meeting at 2:30, anyone that has 100%, gets all 10 questions right, earns $100 from 5150. So, heck, 8 races, a kid could earn an additional $800. And it's funny talking to him, like Braxton Bush, and I was asking the kids what they would do with the money. So Braxton said, I love to hunt, and so I've got to buy my own hunting supplies, or he loves to fish. So he gathers up his own money. So he was excited to earn, if he could get all each question right, $800 at the end of the year. There's another kid that was going to put the money in the race car. Another one was going to have a little bit of money for pizza money, fun money, whatever. It's kind of interesting. Another one was going to spend it on his go-kart when he's back. So kind of fun. Teach them the history of the sport. So what we'll do here in a little bit, I'll grab the test, I'll grab the questions, and we'll see how many of you can put the answers on the live stream. I'm going to run down to the pits here in a few minutes, check on something. I'll be back up about 6:30, we'll say, 6:30, 6:35, and I'll read the questions off here on the live stream. We'll see how many of you can type the correct answers. I'll give you one right now to start. Who won the very first, their first question is, who won the very first Daytona 500 and what year was it? Who won the very first Daytona 500 and what year did that take place? That's the first question of their 10. Yep, Kyle, Stephen Blakesley did post that little session between Kyle and Braxton. And Keaton Lyons, that's Keaton over there on the right, if you see that. Good kid from Illinois. Really, it's one of the unique places back there in dirt track land. Ken Schrader, Kenny Wallace, kind of the same area where he's from. He's friends with all those guys. And Keaton being a youngster also, he's an 11-year-old, but he runs full-size modifieds and they put V6s in the full-size modifieds on dirt. And then he's even running a 604 late model, so he has a lot of experience in the dirt, and it shows out here. That kid really has phenomenal car control. Car stepped out from under him, had a little problem with the right rear last night. Going into turn one, right about the point you're going to lift, we hear some screeching and squealing, and that kid sent that car up the track sideways, saved it, kept it out of the wall, and it was total back it into the cushion, dirt track style. That kid really has good seat of the pants feel. You'll see in that 15 car, that black and blue 15 car of the Holden stable, I think he's going to be tough this year. All right, let me jump over to the feed. Everything working smooth, John? Looking good. I'll have to fire up the instant replay that we were testing earlier. I'll do that a little bit later. All right. So if I can go over here to the YouTube channel. Find a live. All right, Jim Dale. I knew Jim Dale. What an encyclopedia. Lee Petty, 1959. All right, let's go to the second question. I've got a few of them memorized. Jim Dale, let's see how fast you can do this. What was the controversy in that 1959 Daytona 500? What was the controversy, and how many days did it take to name the winner in that race? What was the controversy in that first race in 1959, first Daytona 500, and how many days did it take for NASCAR to announce who the winner was? That's the second question for the kids. John, we're not letting you. I think you saw the cheat sheet already. No, you already knew it, huh? Encyclopedia, look at this off of turn 4. White flag's out. The 4 car of Flowers from Alaska is on the back bumper of Brexton Busch. Kyle's been under Brexton's car yesterday and today. Only if you want to see Kyle Busch out here, the only thing you've really seen is his feet for a couple of days. And he has been all over that right rear of that car. They've got a little tiny knot in the middle of the corner. It just scoots the right front a little bit. And they are trying to adjust that out. And here at the Madera Speedway, it's all about being the fastest car at the slowest part of the racetrack when you're rolling. Now, when you run the high side, you can have a little lump and a little knot. You can kind of hide a tight car or ill handling, but you've really got to use that high side to do it. Let's see what Jim Dale's got here for us. We talk so much about food, all I'm getting is ads on my food. Oh, we got a new one. KDLA. 3-car photo finish, 3 days. Absolutely. 3 days. And, you know, it sounds like some kind of conspiracy thing, but you'd say, man, how do you take 3 days? But 1959, I wonder how good the photos actually were. You're trying to figure that out compared to the technology we have now. Pretty good problem to have, a photo finish. Could you imagine today, though, if it took 3 days to announce who the winner was of a photo finish? Huh. All right, I'm going to run down the pits. I'll bring up the other 7. Those guys are quick. They're on the route to $100 a piece here. Maybe we give them $100 worth of tickets. Somebody gets them all right, huh? And a good In-N-Out hamburger. All right, I'll be right back here in a bit. John's going to switch and kind of tinker with a few things. I'm going to run down trackside and work on something. I'll be right back up here in about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. All right, I'm back. Run around, turn lights on, playing with things on the property. For those of you that are just joining us, Kenny Shepard here. Tomorrow night it'll be Stephen Blakesley and Big Brian on the call. Cam Caraway will be assisting with the junior late model call and then race with the pro late models. A little bit earlier, I was talking about the tests that we give our junior late model drivers, 5150 junior late model drivers. Each race, they have an opportunity to win $100 at the drivers' meeting. We give them a written test of 10 questions. At each race, if they get all 10 perfect, $100 bill to that driver. So I gave out the first 2 questions. Who won the first running of the Daytona 500? And what year was that? Lee Petty, 1959. I think that was Jim Dale, already got that. Second question for the kids this week. There was a controversy at the end of that 1959 Daytona 500. How many days did it take to announce the winner of that race? Controversy was 3-car photo finish, 3 days. Someone's already got that one right. The next question. Kind of an easy one, but we've got some 10, 11, 12-year-olds in there. What was the title sponsor of the Junior Late Model Series in the inaugural year, the inaugural season in 2016? What was the title sponsor of the series in that 2016? That's the third question out of 10. All right, nobody has the answer yet. What was the title sponsor of the inaugural year 2016? Who and what was the title sponsor of the Junior Late Model Series that year? Leaderboard right now in the juniors is Gates, Christensen second, Lyons still third overall. This is the overall speed of the juniors. Now, bad news for the young Lyons car. That's the hotshot driver from Illinois, the dirt driver. He just broke an oil pump in half. Lost oil pressure, they dropped the pan. Oil pump busted in half, going to a backup engine with the HGC Motorsports crew. Thought they were dialed in with both cars. They've got Gates up on the top. Lyons in third, thought they were, not a scratch on the cars, and now they are in for a long night with an engine change. Dixon in fourth. That's Cole Brown's operation that he's mentoring that young driver. Then we've got Flowers from Alaska in fifth. All right, we've got an answer, 5150. Sort of. It was actually the 5150 energy drink was the Junior Late Model Series, the title sponsor. And then once they shut down the energy drink portion of it, it became the 5150 series. So question number 4, we'll see if the kids get that. They're going to have to add the word energy drink to get that one right. And look at this. Jim Dale, without me asking, has already answered the next question. So the next question, what was the name of the person that founded the company that was the inaugural sponsor of the Junior Late Model Series? And Jim Dale's already got Carlos Vieira. Like I said before, what an amazing job Carlos does, whether it's young boxers or motorcycle racers or race car drivers or whatever it is. He really reaches out and tries to help the kids. All right, I've got to run down. I've got a turn 1 light that just knocked a breaker, did something out. So I've got to go work on that. But I'll give you the 5th question. What driver has the most wins in the NASCAR Cup Series? What driver has the most wins in the NASCAR Cup Series? Actually, I'm going to hang on. Jim Dale's going to hit this thing in a heartbeat. What driver? John, what was your answer? Jim's not Googling it. Jim's an encyclopedia. He probably doesn't even use Google. That's a smart man there. So who has the most wins in the NASCAR Cup Series? That's a question for the kids. And since I've got to leave, I'll give you the next question as well. What driver has the most wins in the top 3 NASCAR series? That's the Cup, O'Reilly's, formerly Xfinity, and the Truck Series. What driver has the most wins when you combine those 3 series? So that's questions 5 and 6. All right, Richard Petty. Somebody beat Jim. Richard Petty has the most wins in the Cup Series. So now we're down to what driver has the most wins in the top 3 NASCAR series? The O'Reilly Series, Cup Series, and Trucks. And there's one young driver in the pits better get this right. I can tell you that. And I'll bet he knows it already. Kyle Busch. Got the same. Jim's getting outrun here. He's being beat up. Somebody was sideways, and John was yelling here. We're going right through these. I've got to go fix a sign or a light, but I'm going to go ahead and go through these. All right, next question for the kids will be, what driver won back-to-back championships in the 5150 Junior Late Model Series? Only one driver has won back-to-back championships. Who is that driver? Two championships? It was back-to-back championships. There's only one that did it. Oh, I got you. See who jumps on it. Jim's been behind on that. So we've got Kyle Busch. Jim Dale was all over it on the other question. Yes, it's Kyle Busch, the driver that's won. We've got 2 of them that hit it. Kyle Busch, the driver that has the most wins in the Big 3 series. So we were laughing that Brexton better get that one right this weekend here. All right, we've got another one, Jesse Love. Jesse Love, that was quick. He's the driver back-to-back. You guys are making this fun and quick, so I can go fix that busted light down there. You'll notice turn 2. John, switch the turn 2 in. Hit your switch. Yeah, it's a little dark down there. See that light straight there? Straight up, it's out. See the bright one over in 2, the one middle 1 and 2, I've got to go fix it or attempt to. And we're going to do the high side. We got to put cones. All right, the next question. Who won the very first 5150 Junior Late Model race that was on MAV TV? That was in 2016. Not who won the championship, but who won the very first race, the inaugural race of the 5150 Energy Drink Junior Late Model Series at that time. What was the driver? Nope, not Zampa. The driver that won, I'll give you a hint. He was sideways on the white flag, almost got turned around in turn 4 off the nose of Ryan Vargas. So it was not Ryan Vargas, but this young driver, he was a youngster. He wheeled that thing, stomping and steering. Looked like Gary Selsey when all things go wrong, you get a bunch of tire shake in that top fuel car. And this young driver ended up winning the very first. He's gone down in history. Austin Herzog. Good job, Jim Dale. All right, I'm going to stay here. The guys are yelling at me. We need to fix the lights before we go. All right, let's keep going here. We're going to need them. Question number 9. What year did Dale Earnhardt win his first championship? Again, the goal with this is to teach the kids history throughout the year. There'll be open book tests, question tests, and the goal is, even if they use Google or maybe whatever you guys are cheating on out there, they learn the knowledge and they carry it forward, and it'll be the kids that carry the sport forward is my belief and why we do this. And again, the kids get 100% on their quiz, $100 cash to them. So what year did Dale Earnhardt win his first championship? I'm waiting for the board. '81. Close, but not right. Very close, Jim. So we know Jim is not using Google, John. All of this knowledge has been off the top of his head. I don't have my glasses, and it's long, and I'm on my phone here, but it looks like Robert Julson was in there as well. I believe that's Robert. Let's see if Robert's got the answer. Very close, Jim. Take 1 year off of that, and you've got it. 1980. I'll help answer that just because I've got to run. The last question for the kids, and they've got to have this 100% right. Who was the 2025 Xfinity Series champion? It was it's known now as the O'Reilly Series. Who was the 2025 Xfinity champion? Shh, can't tell him. John's trying to help you guys right now. 2025 Xfinity champion. That's number 10. It's for $100, not for the first one, but if all of the drivers get it right, $100 a piece to each and every one of those drivers in each of our shows here this year. All right, John, it's all yours. I'm going to run down and see if I can work on that light. All right, I made it back up here to the tower. I want to thank everybody that's still watching, everybody that jumped in here. Main events tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. We go live at 6 o'clock here on ShortTrack TV. It's on the member side, and if you're a member, it's $19.99 a month. Hate to say it, but Google gets about $10 of that. We get a little less than they do. But we're able to do some neat things with that. We archive all of our footage all the way back to the beginning of the TV show, about, I think, 240 episodes now. So all the way from the beginning of the TV, it's a complete library to current. We post the TV races shortly after they air. And it's just a really cool place. With our contract with Racer Network, unfortunately, we're not able to do these free live streams. I'd love to do those, but we can't do that. So we hope to see you at the members side tomorrow night, 6 o'clock we start. And it starts with the 5150 Junior Late Model Series, first main event. Bunch of brand new kids, very excited, ready to roll. So super excited. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see you guys again. We'll be doing a lot of these Friday night lives before the junior late model action throughout the season. So we'll talk to you guys soon.